Over 65% of Americans think they're above average intelligence. If you can't see the problem with that, you're part of the problem. But that's okay. Look, for every Nikola Tesla, we need a numbnuts to keep it balanced. And who's to say colossal dum-dums can't achieve accidental genius? I've scoured around for the most moronic mechanics and pea-brain plumbers going, so take notes. Ha! You might need them, as I show you the stupidest solutions to problems that miraculously worked. Keep warm, carry on. I can't believe it. I spent all this money getting a pool fitted in my yard and I can only don my trunks for like half the year. The other half it's too cold for me to get in. However, someone much smarter than me has found a way to enjoy their pool all 13 months of the year. What? There's only 12 months? My bad. This watery hole uses another of the 4 elements to keep warm. Fire. No, I'm not being a giant dingus again. They've put an actual fire floating in their pool. This is some true redneck engineering. It might be effective, but I'm not sure I'd be hopping in that pool anytime soon. I don't want to bear a brand for the rest of my life. At least all that water's at the ready in case of emergency. The same can't really be said for how a Minnesota resident took to keeping warm. During a particularly frosty winter, their landlord decided to turn down the heating, despite outside temperatures plummeting to negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Ugh, what a jerk. But our tenacious tenant had the last laugh. They cranked all the burners on their stovetop and set a fan to blow the rising heat around their apartment. The stingy landlord was too busy fussing over the profits to remember they paid the electricity bill. Ha! Take that, you greedy little schmuck. Now this isn't perfect, but I'd take it over freezing to death. And who doesn't love a win for the little guy? That landlord better think twice before acting like a dollar-hungry dunce again. The wheels on the bus. When you were younger, did you ever sing the nursery rhyme, The Wheels on the Bus? As it happens, the wheels actually do a lot more than go round and round. They can support an entire home. Oh, Lord have mercy. That house looks less stable than my 3rd marriage. For now, it's holding up fine, but that bend at the front is making me a little nervous. All it takes is for one tire to get knocked out of place before they all go rolling down the hill, and your house is going to slide down after them. I can't help but wonder where'd they get their hands on so many tires. Maybe they've jacked some from this bus home. Yeah, that's not going to be road safe anytime soon. Now, it might not be the van life aesthetic you see plastered over Instagram, but let's be fair. We don't know what this person's living situation was before. And this is a darn sight better than letting a hunk of metal rust away in some scrapyard. Providing it's not cold and full of leaks, I think it's a pretty clever and cheap way to give someone a home. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Ramen rebuild. I had this one house party in college where 2 of my friends had a fight in the bathroom. When they came out, they were all sweaty and my sink was broken. Neither had a scratch on them though. Weird. Still, getting the sink fixed cost a bomb, so I wish I'd known this handy little hack back then. You can fix a sink or just about anything using instant ramen. And as a broke college student, I had plenty of packet noodles. Watch this. I've never wanted to eat a sink in my life so bad. Realistically, the ramen isn't fixing anything. The gelling agent is. The noodles act like scaffolding holding the gel in place whilst it sets. It can then be sanded down to fit the shape, painted over, and bon appetit. Wait, no, voila! So why ramen? Well, it's cheap and easy to get into whatever shape you need. That and pouring chicken seasoning into a hole in your sink turns a few heads. I think on this occasion I'm leaving this one to the pros, and I'd suggest you do too. You're gonna have a messy home if you plug the holes in your wall with chili beef noodles. Have you got a deep hole inside you're trying to fill? Hit those like and subscribe buttons and I'll keep you satiated with amazing YouTube videos. And unlike the ramen, there's never any filler. Great, let's get back to the video. Makeshift mechanic. I've never understood hardcore car fans. If you're gonna spend so much time and money on something, get a puppy. My car's never licked peanut butter off my fingers. But hey, if your whip's your pride and joy, then I'm happy for you. Just don't take any engineering advice from whoever's responsible for this. When their wheel came loose from the chassis and they had no legal way to fix it, they turned to that rather horrifying method. I like neat and tidy cables as much as the next person, but my faith in zip ties ends there. At least I can pray they were just holding it together until they got to the nearest garage. The same can't be said for this bootleg wing mirror. Health and safety's key, kids, and I'm sure this works, but I'd be stunned if it was legal. They'd be better off using that mirror to take a long, hard look at themselves. However, neither of those come close to winning Horrifying Car Mod of the Week. Oh no. That reward goes to Florida for this incredible repair work. Yikes. I know they say duct tape fixes everything, but it can't fix your bad driving. What, you thought that bodywork happened in that parking bay? I'm not having it. Someone among us has genuinely driven this monstrosity around. And that's just the outside. I dread to think how many empty Wendy's wrappers are clogging up the footwell. Blech. Yuck. Sous chef or sus chef? The world of kitchen gadgets is a minefield. No matter what they try and sell you, you don't need an avocado spoon, a pickle picker, or a self-twirling spaghetti fork. You've already got everything you need to cook up a delicious meal. So go to the cupboard, grab your iron, and let's get cooking. Huh? Yes, I said iron. As it happens, that thing your mom got you when you went to college that's still in the box can do so much more than keeping the creases out of your khakis. Yep, remember that pizza you ate half of last night? Well, before chowing down on a cold slice of za, heat it up on the iron. And for extra melty goodness bonus points, why not give the top a blast with your mom's blow dryer? I thought this was just one of those hotel hacks where you don't have access to a burner, but I was wrong. Somebody else went one step further and set their iron up in their stovetop. For once, I am genuinely lost for words. Martha Stewart went to prison for less than this. If you want to give it a go though, I'd suggest using a different iron than you use for your clothes. First impressions are important, and you don't want to be remembered for smelling like sausage meat. I want to write this off as a silly gimmick, but I can picture the lines outside an Upper East Side coffee shop paying $35 for an iron cheese sandwich. What's next? Dim sum cooked with a clothes steamer? Come to think of it, that's not a bad idea. Rub-a-dub-dub. Are you team bath or team shower? I'm voting bath. Why stand when you can sit? But what can you do if you don't have a bath at home? Fear not, devoted viewer. One genius Reddit user came up with the perfect solution to soak your weary muscles. They placed a large storage box in their shower and hopped in afterwards. And it costs less than a bath too. When you've got 16 gallons of human in there already, you only need 4 gallons of water. And the bubbles protect your modesty. It's intuitive and economical. If you disagree, I'm gonna set Mr. Ducky on you. Hey, if you prefer a nice cooling dip over a hot one, don't think I've forgotten about you. This homeowner has converted a used IBC container into a makeshift pool. Pretty cool, right? The only thing is, IBCs are normally used to store and transport large quantities of liquid chemicals or water, and sometimes those chemicals are hazardous. So make sure this thing is properly cleaned before trying it out yourself. Otherwise, you'll hop out looking like you've dressed up as a tasty seal and tried to outswim a shark. Safety first. The older I get, the more I care about safety. Not just mine, but those around me too. Life's a cruel mistress though, and you can't control the uncontrollable. However, you can improvise. When this driver's fuel cap came loose, they didn't feel like coughing up all that money at a garage to get it fixed. Instead, they used a cheap bathroom lock to secure the flap. It's not pretty, but if I trusted to stop people walking in on me with my pants down, I'd sure as hell trust it on my car. And just how home locks work on the car locks also work in the home. Look at the unique mechanism this person used to keep their gate shut. Yep, that's the fastening for a seatbelt. Color me impressed. But I can't help but feel for whoever next gets in their car with them. This definitely came from an old disused car, right? Guys? Right? Let's move on quickly to something a little safer. You know in movies when someone uses a big piece of wood to barricade the door? Surely no one actually does that in real life. Well, this person does. They've shoved a spanner through 2 handles and padlocked the other side. Without the key, no one's getting in or out of there. Now that's what I'd call a spanner in the works. Get it? It's a... whatever. Right to bear arms. Whether you've got a big weapon or a small one, be proud of what you're packing. At the end of the day, if you live in the U.S., it's your Second Amendment right to own a gun. Huh? What did you think I meant? Now, it's a touchy subject, but I think some people shouldn't be allowed to own a gun. I know, but let me explain myself. More specifically, this guy shouldn't be. Oh, crumbs. Come on, did his buddy ask him to bring a toaster and he didn't know if that meant for shooting or sandwiches? Look, it does the job, but he's one step from turning that loaf into an ashy bagel. I wouldn't trust him with making lunch, let alone an open carry license. Whatever's next? Someone with a gun tucked in their flip-flop? Oh, I was kidding, but that's insane. At least if the gun jams or runs out of ammo, you've got the slipper to slap them silly with. Sometimes it's easy to see why other countries laugh at us. Hairdo doo-doo. Lately, I've been thinking about switching up my signature look. What do you think? I fancy trying some jazzy new hairstyles. Luckily for me, the internet is overflowing with smart hairstyling tips to keep me looking at my very best in the most wallet-friendly way possible. Like, all those cardboard inserts from your toilet paper. Apparently, they make a great replacement for hair rollers. Only it kinda seems too good to be true. And the tutorials I've checked haven't worked out too well for them. In order for it to work, the hair needs to be wet, but damp cardboard will just go mushy in your hair. I'm not convinced. And for the sake of saving yourself about $10 on an actual set of rollers, I'm calling the doo-doo paper tube hairdo poo-poo. Phew! Alas, there's not a single hair on my shiny little head though. So ladies, let me know in the comments if this works or not. Whatever the weather. If I could choose a superpower, it'd be controlling the weather. Then I'd make it rain directly over my ex's house. But until I get bitten by a radioactive weatherman, bad weather will remain as unpredictable as ever. After an emergency hail warning was issued, one car owner got caught out without a cover for their vehicle and had to think something up on the fly. Good quality hail covers can easily be a couple $100 and aren't the easiest thing to get hold of on short notice. But do you know what are? Pool noodles. Any hail that falls straight down will bounce right off them. I just hope there's no wind, because those windows aren't covered by the noodles or the insurance. So that's bad weather from above. But if you're in an area prone to flooding, how do you stop the water from rising until everything you own is submerged? Well, you don't. You raise your possessions up even higher. Incredibly, this car owner engineered a handy pair of stilts for his prize wagon. Check it out. There's no question they're doing an excellent job of making sure his engine stays dry. The only thing is, how the heck did he get the car up there? Each wheel is precariously balanced on a few bricks, so it must have been lifted into place, right? Which begs the further question, how he's meant to get it back down. If you slap that thing in reverse, you're going to total the car by dropping it 3 feet onto solid concrete. All I want in life is friends loyal enough to lift a Kia on and off some old church pews for me. Lights, camera, action. Before I became your #1 source of facts and interesting information, your boy loved to party. The music, the lights. I was a wild child with a wise man's brain. Recently, I saw a video which made me nostalgic for my crazier days. When a mock-up nightclub in Myanmar ran into some electrical issues, this bold hero stepped in to save the day, or night, and keep the party going. Spending your whole night stationed by the electricals plugging and unplugging the lights sounds neither fun nor safe. However, he looks like he's having a great time. As for that white stuff all over his face, don't be getting any funny ideas. It's kind of sunscreen called Thanaka particular to Myanmar. Can't be forgetting to protect your skin whilst you throw some shapes. Even though my party days are long behind me, I still like getting into the holiday spirit by putting on a seasonal display outside my house. But how do you stand out from the crowd without spending an extortionate amount on fancy lights? Well, if you're a Massachusetts-based DIY extraordinaire Wild Bill, you get creative. In Halloween 2022, he set up this scary surprise in his front yard.
Welcome to the Yard Truck Channel. I'm your host, Wild Bill Knowles, along with Crankenstein.
Darn, that's what I'd call a redneck rotisserie. What a fun way to encourage trick-or-treaters. The only problem is, it looks like this guy lives in the middle of nowhere. So who's trick-or-treating in the sticks? If spooky season isn't your vibe though, check out his Christmas display. I'm calling this one Rudolph the Redneck Reindeer. I've never seen something look so good and so bad at the same time. Still, if you've got any junk in your yard you hoped you'd get around to using one day, maybe this can get those creative juices flowing. In Bill's case, that creative juice was motor oil. Lots and lots of motor oil. Screen scheme. Kids nowadays will never know the struggle of playing video games with a friend before the internet. Online gaming wasn't a thing, so you and your frenemy would have to play off against each other on the same TV, which compressed both your screens into one. As well as having half the screen real estate, your opponent could always see where you were. And some people were flagrant cheaters. I only wish I was as creative as these two budding gamers. They taped a sheet of cardboard to split the screen so neither of them can spy on the other. Genius! I'm convinced the boy sitting on the floor was the cheat, otherwise he's really drawn the short straw there. Unfortunately, I feel like this era of video games is a thing of the past. Does anyone else still meet up with their buddies and play split screen? Let me know in the comments. From screen splitters to seam splitters, these brilliant buddies found a way to keep things cool at their sleepover parties, even though they only had a small desk fan and were sleeping in separate bunks. By sticking a pair of pants over the fan, they directed the flow of air down each leg to their respective beds. Now that's easy breezy, baby. Hour of power. I've got this drawer in my house full of random stuff. Light bulbs, old screws, takeaway menus, all sorts. It's a load of junk I'm banking on one day being useful. Like, I don't remember buying all these batteries. And when something runs out of juice, they're never the right size. But that's not a problem anymore because I found a fix. If you need a larger battery, say a AA, and you've only got AAAs, you can use tinfoil to make the battery longer. Hey, presto! You're back online. Because tinfoil conducts electricity, it allows the current to pass through it, which completes the circuit in whatever battery-powered device you need it in. As long as the batteries have power, whatever you've put them in should work. Neato! When I found this out, I couldn't believe more people didn't know about it. But then I realized why. You've got to be careful putting foil and batteries together. If you connect both ends of the foil together, well, this happens. Damn. When the circuit's completed with just the foil and the battery, the foil gets hot enough to start a fire. So before you go jamming all your electricals with aluminum foil and tiny batteries, make sure you're not gonna melt your TV remote. No one wants to be that guy who has to get up to change channels. Who got the breeze for my Gemma? I don't know about you, but I definitely packed on a few pounds during the lockdown. With no access to a gym, the only working out I was doing was how many cans of spray cheese it'd take to cover my neighbor's dog. However, TikToker Will Hartzell found a creative way to keep his pump on throughout the COVID pandemic. He built an entire gym out of stuff he found lying around his farm. Will's home gym comes fully equipped with homemade dumbbells, a bench press, and a treadmill? Buddy, you live on a farm. What do you need a treadmill for? You have land to run around. But hey, I'm not knocking this guy's creativity. Going to the gym takes a lot of effort, but building your own gym looks like a gym session in and of itself. Kudos to you, Will. Oh, and as for how many cans it took to spray my neighbor's dog, I don't know. Little Mochi was too quick for me to catch. Maybe I need that treadmill after all. Seat for sore eyes. No. All this adulting is hard. It's nothing but go to work, buy your groceries, don't eat an entire birthday cake for dinner again. Man, I'm tired and my knees hurt. Honestly, all I want is a nice sit down. As did this Reddit user's brother, who fashioned himself this unsightly looking gaming chair from an old dining chair, a cushion, and some tape. Look, I'm partial to grinding out ranked ladders until 2 a.m., but if I sat on this thing for longer than 20 minutes, my spine would look like a witch's finger. But hey, if it keeps you comfy, then who am I to stop ya? I'd take the chance with that over this abomination. Are those bombs? I sure hope they're no longer active. Otherwise, parking your caboose for a happy little swing would be a death trap. I'm not sure where this picture was taken. I just hope it's far away from me. That thing looks like a Newton's Cradle death trap. But enough of that. I've got a glorious chair to show you that makes the others pale in comparison. Kind viewers, have you ever been out with your pals and fancied a nice cold refreshing beverage? Fear not. I present to you Beer Putty. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Okay, so in order for it to work, you do actually need some snow. At which point, I don't see how the toilet itself is doing anything to keep your refreshments more refreshing than the snow would on its own. Also, after 2 beers, I'm going to need some alone time with the toilet fridge, but there's no way I'm bare cheeking it. And no one's going to want to store their drinks in a bowl filled with yellow snow. On that delightful note, that's me all out of dumb ideas. Which of those stupid solutions inspired you the most? And do you have any you think could have made it into the video? Let me know in the comments down below, and thanks for watching.